All right, guys, before we get into today's episode, everybody check out Salty Water. There's no sugar, no caffeine, no carbonation. Everybody go to Amazon and check out Salty Water. It tastes amazing. I don't even have the urge to drink energy drinks anymore because it's flavored water. So everybody go check it out. It's a healthier way. Everybody's drinking it, and it's amazing. See you guys on the pod. Welcome to Basement Talk.
Hey, let's go.
Let's go, baby.
Cheers.
Legend. Bro, we've been wanting to have you on for a super long time. I'm super excited. One of our most requested guests as well. Not only from our friends, family, a lot of our subscribers. So we're excited to have you on, bro.
Sick, dude.
It's a pleasure.
Man, I gotta be careful. I won't be able to make it out of here. My head would be so big, bro. I'm trying to fit through the door.
Yeah, bro.
I appreciate that, man.
Bro,
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, and it's really cool to see what you've been doing on social media. Being like a marketing company is pretty badass, bro. It's really cool.
Yeah. So we were just talking and he's like, I don't just have a podcast, I have a marketing company. I was like, oh, what?
Yeah.
And then when like I came in, I was like, what? When I pulled up to the building, I was like, it's here? What?
It's not in a basement?
It's not in a basement where you talk and they give you popsicles.
remember those Otter Pops? Remember those things?
I do remember
We
Otter
should
Pops.
get those, dude.
Yeah.
Those
After a
things
hot summer day.
Those are the best.
You're like the old guys in Family Guy. I'm like, I got some popsicles in the freezer.
Dude, I love it. But yeah, bro, thank you so much for coming on. And we were just talking too before we sat down about how you grew up in Minnesota.
Yeah.
We ended up going to Minnesota
Pretty recently.
2 months ago.
Yeah.
It was freezing.
First time I touched snow.
It was pretty cool though.
Really?
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? Like, so in my yard, I have a few palm trees, and dude,
In Minnesota or
No. Here.
Okay.
Fuck no. Pine trees for life out in Minnesota. Yeah, we got maples and pine trees and birch and they got. I'm like, glad I got rid of that accent.
Yeah, that's
but I got
brutal.
palm trees in at my house that I live at now over at Eastside Costa Mesa.
Yeah.
It's like Eastside Costa Mesa Newport border, and like I can't explain to you the amount of immense joy I get from seeing a fucking palm. I was like one day, like I was getting out of my car, I got whacked, and I was like, what the fuck? Fucking palm tree. And I was like, dude, I have a fucking palm tree in my driveway. Fuck yeah. I made it. I was like, yes. Because I used to write down in my journal, which I found it from it's from 11 years ago. And I said, I will make it to the UFC. I'll be making this much money a month. I'll have this much in my portfolio. And I will live in a mansion in Southern California. And like, bro, I do. Like,
That's
like
incredible.
my roommate, I lived in a fighter house in Irvine. And after like 9 months, like you're living with like 12 other fighters. I mean, it was cool. Like the dynamics were cool, but like you were just a slave to the gym, because they gave you a free place to stay. So I was like, fuck this. I got a draw from a guy who's fighting Juan Archuleta now. He was 3-3 when I fought him.
Is this Juan's most recent fight coming up?
This is the one coming up. Denny
gosh.
Linton. I fought that guy in his. So he looks white, but he's Native American, and I fought him at his casino on his like land, with his tribe. Yo, yeah, dude, that guy sold like this many, like he gave them a pile of money like this. And they're like, hey, we switched you to the main event when I got out to Lincoln.
What organization were you in?
That was for King of the Cage.
King of the Cage.
Oh, wow.
I took it on like 2-3 weeks notice.
Isn't King of the Cage, there's a lot of people from Europe? Or am I?
I don't think so.
I have a different one?
Maybe.
What's the one that they're talking about Dougie going into? Cage Warriors or something?
Cage
I don't know.
Warriors for
Cage
sure.
Warriors is like where
Cage
that Patty
Warriors is
Pimlet
all
was
the
in
Is that
European
there?
public
guys.
knowledge?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, Cage Warriors is all the
Yeah,
European guys.
Yeah,
but
it's on Twitter.
I fought
is?
that
Put
guy.
that on Twitter.
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
yeah, I mean,
He was 3-3. I was 2-0, and we both had a draw that night. And that guy went on to have a 7-fight win streak and is now fighting Juan Archuleta.
Damn.
And I went on to win a fight up in Burbank, and then I won a fight in Iowa, and then I fought the 2 times over on the East Coast and became the 2-time CFFC champion. But it's crazy. My coach at the time was like, "Oh, you should have knocked that guy out," and I almost knocked him out with a head kick at the end of the 3rd round. But I'm like, "Yo, dude, this guy went on a tear. The guy's no
Legit.
joke." You know, it's like,
so he's in a 7-win streak and he's fighting Juan Archuleta right now.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy.
after
How old
me
is
and
Juan right
after
now,
me and
too?
him fought.
Juan looks
short
pretty
notice
dialed
main
in
event.
at training.
Yeah, Juan looks
He
good.
looks good right now.
Yeah,
That
Juan.
fight got announced last week, right?
Yep.
That's crazy.
I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, that's a weird matchup. I don't know.
Denny
Juan-
Lynn, good wrestler.
Juan got submitted to his last fight, right? If I'm
Yeah.
not mistaken. Yeah. I don't know what
First
league. That was
round.
in Japan, right?
Yeah, they went to
He
Japan.
went to Japan.
Lonnie
That's
was there.
crazy.
Yeah, he's been doing a bunch of fights over in Japan.
Where's the weirdest place you've ever fought?
The weirdest?
Yeah, or like random, like out of the
Are you
country.
talking
Maybe
about professional?
non-sanctioned.
Non-professional.
Amateur, anything.
Mm,
Minnesota.
It's like
that's pretty good. That's a good question. Out of 50 fights, oh, you know what it was? It was like I was fighting up in like northern Georgia with my boy Tony Murda Davis. Murda
Tony
was his
Murda
nickname.
Davis.
Yeah. And
fuck with him.
and we went up there and we're in Georgia, bro. I'm like, we were in Georgia, bro. I'm like, we went up north and like,
How are the
bro,
girls
they
out
shot a
there?
fucking cannon off. Like had Confederate flags and shit. Like, boom! That's crazy. Shot a big ass cannon. It was outside. Everybody looked like they were cousins. Like it was crazy. I was like, I leaned over to my boy. I was like, hey Tony. I was like, look, I know you're light skinned. I was like, motherfucker, I feel light skinned here. I was like, I'm kind of scared, bro. I was like, I think I'm a little too tan for this area. And he just goes, yeah, man, this some bullshit. Tony Murda Davis, baby.
Oh, that's so funny.
He was a savage. That dude
North
was
Georgia.
That dude was cool. But yeah, when we fought out there, that thing was like, playing
banjos and
it was
shit.
like podunk, bro. I didn't know we were making out alive.
and what age did you move to California?
I moved here when I was 27.
27.
27. That's when I
then
went pro.
And then I saw somewhere too that the right when you moved here, you started training with Cheeto.
Yeah. So
How was it training with him?
Cheeto was my main sparring partner. Yeah, and it was tough.
Everyone that we talked to on our show,
dude.
they said he's one of the toughest sparring partners. Like he will go extremely hard in training.
Yeah,
no matter
yeah.
who it is or what time of day.
Is it
or
like
whatever.
100% though, or
Oh fuck yeah! Like anybody that gives you that bullshit.
That's how
That,
I
oh yeah,
train
we're
too.
just going 50%. No, you're not. Not
would he
nah.
Would he
Not-
say that before he was like training with you or no?
No, but like, okay, so I was new to the gym, right? Like, I had just moved down there in November, right after Thanksgiving in 2017. And I get down there, I'm getting adjusted. There's like all these different guys from different countries out there, monsters, bro. Like UFC guys coming in and out of the house. You know, some have their work visa. Some people, their visa runs out, so they have to go back to Peru or Ecuador or Japan or Mexico. Like, bro, they were pulling all the top people in from all around, not the country, but from around the world. And so I'm there and I'm like learning about this new team. You know, it's not my team that I had been with for a while, you know, but I traveled around and I've been with plenty of teams all over the US. I've trained in the Philippines, trained in Peru, you know, like I've trained all over the place. And I get there and it was fucking tough. And Colin Oyama at Team Oyama is no fucking joke. That dude is a hard ass. He's old school. and you spar 3 times a week, hard,
3 times a week.
hard. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. You are not late. Whatever the fuck he says goes. Like, dude, I got my tooth chipped by Fernando Padilla, and he was like, hey, Blakey, get up and you fucking go after that little Mexican. Don't ever let him fucking knock your shit out like that. I was like, what the fuck? Like, busted up nose. I'm like, oh man, fucking, maybe I'll have a break. He's like, Blakey, go clean yourself off in the bathroom and come back and talk to me. I was like, all right, clean myself off. My shit's all busted up. Come back. He goes, don't ever let that motherfucker think that he could get away with that. He thinks he's off the hook. He goes, you go get him back now. I was like, for real? And he was like, you just gonna let him get off the hook? I was like, well, I mean, no, I guess not. But he goes, it's fine. You'll be good. I'm like, all right. And like, fuck. I mean, there you really understood that we take the easy way out a lot. And with him, you go the hardest way every single time. There was no easy way ever. There's no shortcuts and there's no skipping anything. And he will push you to your brink and he'll know when you're done. I mean, some guys would get knocked out and like when they got knocked out, that was it.
But do you think that's a smart way to train? Like genuinely?
No, I think a lot of us were really overtrained. I think a lot of us were like brutally overtrained.
That just sounds terrible.
Yeah.
What's
like,
the advantage to that?
you
Not
know,
being afraid
it's
in the
like,
fight,
it,
I
yeah,
guess?
you know, it's like, it's going to happen to you in a fight,
Yeah.
you know? So it makes you fucking tough. And like, I was definitely very like militant and disciplined, during that time. And with a fighter, you only have so many years as a pro, right? And he recognizes that. And he has to make sure that you're fucking about that life. And you got to stay about that life like all the time, you know? And there's guys in the UFC, you know, I don't have to name who they are, but I've seen them crying like in practice, you know, nope, Shark Tank them, stay on them, get that motherfucker. And, you know, and they're crying like, ah, and like you pick them
How
up,
crazy
boom,
too was it
slamming
throwing,
them,
like,
bop, bop, bop. And they're like, next, you know, so.
Minnesota too to like that must have been
Like
pretty
night and
crazy.
day.
Like how was that first couple months? Like
Well, it was crazy. So back to that Cheeto question. The crazy part is you don't know the dynamics of everything, right? So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go in here and when I sparred, I like kind of played a lot. Like, you know, I wasn't like trying to kill my teammates, but when I got to a fight, kill. But that was very different at Team Oyama. You know, so when I went with Cheeto, I wasn't wearing knee pads or elbow pads, but I was just showing something like if I saw something, I just like do it. But I wasn't like being serious. I wasn't actually gonna throw it, but I was just showing it. I was just like, you know, just throwing like a feint out there. But he took it like, oh shit. So he goes up. I didn't know, but later on I asked those guys, I was like, yo, what the fuck was up with that day? They're like, oh yeah, he got real mad. He say, oh yeah, this motherfucker, okay. You think you're gonna come and fuck with me? You're gonna throw the knee? You're not wearing no knee pads? Fucking motherfucker. Okay, we're gonna see. I'm gonna knock this motherfucker out. You guys just watch.
It's a pretty spot on.
Yeah, dude, that's crazy.
And I was like, and so this other guy was getting his fucking ass beat. He was getting smashed. And I was like, yo, this dude's gonna get knocked out. I'm like, bro, you gotta keep your hands up, bro. Like rule 101 of fucking boxing. And then like, and I just showed that knee and he called it, he's like, Blakey, Cheeto, go. And fucking, and you go in, boom. And I've never in my life seen anybody look at me the way that motherfucker was looking at me. Like, he was trying to fucking kill me.
He did not like you.
He was trying to kill me
Damn.
that night. I don't think he was trying to like even KO me. I think he was trying to kill me because right off the bat, I go, boom, hard left cross because he's southpaw. Bam, split, and all of a sudden, ding, my head's ringing. I'm like, oh shit. I look over at the guy that I was just giving advice to. I was like, hands up. And next thing you know, boom, big ass head kick. Ding. That shit's ringing again. And I'm like, oh my gosh, bro, I'm about to get knocked out. And everybody on the side's like, I'm like looking at him and looking at all of them, and they're going, ooh, like this.
That's
like,
crazy.
because he just talked to them, but I didn't see that.
Yeah.
I'm busy giving advice to the guy who's almost getting smashed.
When you didn't know that he was pissed off.
I didn't know that he was pissed off either. I didn't know that. New team, right?
Yeah.
New environment. They don't know me. I don't know them. I'm coming into their house, right? And, and I had like a little bit of mercy. Like if I saw that I like hurt somebody or whatever, I'd be like, hey, you good? Not with him. It was just like, he was like, kill. And, another head kick. Ding. I was like, fuck. So it was 3 times. And I was like, and we finished around, and it was good. And I was like, fuck,
and
bro.
nobody's telling you guys to chill during that, or like,
fuck
they're just
no.
letting
The
you
gym
go?
environment sounds like it's just like
the
go to
gym,
war.
the environment at that gym is just like kill or be killed.
But I just think that's ridiculous. Though.
It's just
Jeez.
it's just it's a system that's been in place for him that's worked.
Yeah.
And so if it's not broken, don't fix it. And
I feel
if
like
you
it makes you nonchalant as a fighter though when you're actually in the.
sometimes as a fighter, what it'll do is it'll make you less stressed out. Like boom, you get been here before. But would I go about it differently now? Yes. Did I leave that gym after 9 months after I had a draw, and then like I was like, hey, I feel like a little bit like I got like a headache. I'm gonna like you 2 guys cover, and then Alex Perez was like, he's like, hey, you're supposed to be at the gym, and I was just like, and I just got done with the fight. It was my first. I felt like a loss, but it was a draw. It was against Danny Linton, and should have won. Almost got him out of there in the 3rd round. At the very end of the round, threw a Hail Mary kick, almost knocked him out. He was on his skates. Almost had him out of there, and the one of the judges told me, he goes, we were gonna give it to you, but we couldn't give it on what ifs. I go, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
And talk about you were in the UFC when you moved to California, or talk about your rise to UFC. So yeah, talk about like the kind of lead up into the call you got.
Yeah, so the move was made because I was like my coach in Minnesota, like, gosh, I think I'd still be fighting amateur if I was over there. He just didn't want you to go. Like he was just
Didn't
like one more amateur fight. I went 36-2 as an amateur.
That's what I was gonna say. I read that you were
That's
30. You were
crazy.
36-2, but it said boxing, or that was MMA.
Yeah, and then my box rec for my amateur record is like all messed up because it's not true. I went 18-2 for boxing as an
that's
amateur.
a shit ton of fights.
And I had a win over a 10-time national champion. I had 2 wins over a 3-time Upper Midwest Golden Glove champion. Both of those were at light heavyweight, by the way, 178.
Oh my gosh.
Damn.
Yeah, that's
178. My first open fight for was against a 10-time national champion, and he had 370 fights. I went open. So once you go novice, and it's usually like 0 to 10 fights. When you go open, you can fight anybody.
They're just
You can fight a Cuban, like whatever world champion with 500 fights. Oh yeah.
Are there guys like that?
Oh yeah.
500 fights?
Cuba especially.
Holy shit, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why would you want to do that? That's
Gennady Golovkin. He had like 400 amateur fights.
Crazy.
my
Well, those
God.
guys in Cuba too. Like I always
So-
see stuff about Yoel Romero. Like they're fighting since they're like 8 years old and all this stuff. They're like bred for fighting, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, he's like in a house where it's a hierarchy system.
Yeah.
Like if you win, like you get a bed.
Yeah. Have you guys seen
Yeah.
that?
Yeah. Like so.
You know Yoel Romero?
yes.
Yeah.
they-
So at Timoyama, same thing. Like if you did it, we're all in the fighter house, right? You do some like fuck shit. you know, like, and even Colin, he finds out about it. He's like, hey, Fernando, I'll give you like 3 tacos if you fucking drop this for every time you drop this motherfucker. You know, because he's doing some stupid shit. He's not cleaning up around the house. And
Is
Colin,
this gym still going?
oh yeah,
it's still kind of like that right now.
What active?
they don't have a fighter house anymore, but Colin provided housing. And the fight and the fighters that were in the house. Yeah, honestly, I've never really told this. This is kind of cool to tell. So, and the fighters in the house, they would get paid like below minimum wage, you know, but you would get a place to stay.
Yeah,
it's
terrible, but you get
and then whatever clients that you get from like cardio kickboxing or whatever,
yeah,
you just had to give like a little percentage to the gym. If it was at the gym, if it wasn't at the gym, and you trained them like somewhere else in their garage, your garage, outside, you get to keep all of it. So I was like, dude, they thought I was selfish because I wasn't there like after my fights for like to help out with everybody's camp.
Well, you said you had a headache, right?
Well, even all right, even besides that, right?
That's valid though.
Even besides that,
Could have been concussed.
okay. I'm giving all these foreign. Do you think anybody coming from different countries has a license and a car? No. So I have a '08 Chevy Malibu. Like, where do you making? What do you think I made my first pro fight? Money wise,
Like $1,000.
what do you think?
1,500, 2,000.
It's like good
What do you think? What do you think I made?
$2,000.
$400.
Oh my
shit.
god.
So
Well, how long ago was that?
that was in 2018 in February.
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
wow.
So $400, right?
Yeah.
Out of that $400, 20% goes to my manager.
They took that?
20% goes to the gym. I get 60%. Then I got to pay taxes on it, right?
Made like $100.
And pay for gas
then you got
for
food
driving
after the
everybody
fight?
around.
Hope to God I got sponsors,
Yeah.
you know, and you know you're just a starting out pro. You know, nobody knows your name. What following you got? Can you market? Can you do anything? You know, like, oh, yeah, we'll give you a couple $100, you know, for the fight. So like, you know, and if you're not good at negotiating, you're not good at business, you're not good at marketing, you know, you're not going to set up like a monthly residual where it's just like, hey, we'll do a month to month, weekly, we'll do this, or we'll start like an affiliate, you know, or you know, if you're not savvy with that, you're done for. So I'm making $400 a fight. I'm making $400. No. I'm making like 200.
Making $50.
I'm making like $50, you know, right? After taxes, you know.
Take the misses on a date.
It cost me more money to
McDonald's?
yeah. I'm losing money by driving to the fight myself, right? Gas cost me.
You made a Chipotle bowl.
Yeah, gas. Yeah, I get a Snickers.
That's
you know?
crazy.
That's
So
fucked.
that's how it goes. So plus every day, I'm giving all the people in the house rides to the gym
they
and
don't
back.
they don't have cars.
Did they ever give me gas money?
Nope. Yeah, that's brutal.
Did they? If my car broke down, could they afford to fix it?
Yeah. No.
Right. So I would go back. My mentor, who I worked with since I was 24, who brought me to the Philippines, and he said, "Hey, I got an opportunity. Might be for you, might not be." But he did search engine optimization, helping people pop up at the top of Google, and he does security cameras. So I go back and I had some clients from before, and I would do security cameras. But man, I was hungry because I had to be hungry. So I'd go back, I'd go and do a bunch of jobs in a week, literally working every single day from morning till night. Like doing security cameras, and I got to order this stuff. If they want more, I'm kind of screwed. So I'd have to like try and decide like, all right, how many cameras can I sell? Do I have all of the equipment? You know, do I have the right tools to do it? But Tom Ronayne, that guy believed in me more than anybody else in this world. He's still to this day, like a father. Like I could cry. I love that guy so much because that guy believed in me when nobody believed in me. You know how I was saying like everybody was condescending? He was never condescending towards me. Wow. And if I ever messed up, he would as a man look me in my eye and say, "Hey, this ain't right. And you got to do better because you are better. And I believe in you. And nobody else believes in you like I believe in you. But I got your back. Come on, we can do this. Believe it, conceive it, and achieve it. You got this. I believe in you. You can do it." And that guy took me all around the world, over to the Philippines, and showed me life. And he also took me on presentations and showed me how to run a business and how to be a good man and how to run a company and how to be a good human being. And that guy changed my life. And so when I came back, that guy set me up for success. He goes, "Here's some tools. Here's the work van. Here's some customers. These people need help. Let's make some calls." And I go back and I get my nut.
Compared to what you're making.
I wasn't pulling anything like that before. I come back. I had a $10,000 week one time.
Yeah.
I was like,
That's fantastic.
he goes, "Hey kid, how much you make this week?" I had a girl. I dated this Mexican girl. She was like a Mexican Taylor Swift. She lived over she lived over in Compton. Yeah. She lived up in Compton.
Taylor Swift.
Yeah, she was like a Mexican Taylor Swift. Yeah, she lived up in Compton. So I would work all day. 10
Crazy
a.m.
description.
Yeah.
How did you meet her?
Holy shit.
So there was a guy that I did a documentary for, right? He was a special needs guy. And so I just acquired a camera. Like literally perfect timing. Like I was like, "Hey, I'm thinking about doing vlogs and recording my life."
Yeah.
And this guy's like, "Oh, hey, I got a camera. You can use it." I was like, "Oh, thanks." He's like, "Here's the SD card. This is how you work the aperture. Showed me how to do like B-roll. And so I do this whole thing.
Crazy.
He does a jiu-jitsu tournament, or before that, we build it up, special needs guy. And he's like, I want to win a tournament and get double gold. So he signs up for this tournament out in Long Beach, and he's like, "Hey," I filmed a bunch of stuff for him. We promoted it on Facebook. He raised a bunch of money, and he's like, "Hey, I raised all this money. I didn't ask for anything. I was like, I'll just do it for free, whatever. I got you." And he was like, "Hey, I raised a bunch of money," and he was like a man of faith too. And I think he had like Asperger's or autism or something like that.
Okay.
But we filmed the whole thing, made it funny. I learned how to edit, did the whole thing. And he raises a bunch of money. He flies me and another guy out to Long Beach. He does this tournament, gets triple gold. While I'm there, I'm studying game on YouTube. There used to be these guys called RSD, so it's real social
You mean
dynamics.
when you say game, like how to pick up chicks and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay,
These guys would put like,
I've heard of this. I've heard of that YouTube.
Yeah.
heard of it,
They had to take it down because like.
What is it called?
It was called RSD.
RSD.
And so
Kobe definitely watched.
And so Kobe, right?
But
Yeah. So you'd be like RSD Kobe as a coach. I'd be like RSD Blake, right?
Yeah.
And so these guys would go around and it was kind of like, I mean, it was cool, but it was also fucked. But it was also cool because you're like, oh shit, like dang, like
it's working.
Some of these, these hoes ain't loyal.
What
that song was around at the time.
Fuck.
And she's like, yeah, my boyfriend's at home, but me and Becky are out. And he's like, oh, da 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 da. And he's like, the next thing you know, she's making out with them, and and like, and so it got like that, and it got super like red pill toxic, where it was just like, this is too crazy. They had a big fiasco. I mean, you could just imagine, you got a bunch of coaches going around spitting game. It's mainly like picking up girls at bars and whatnot. People are drinking, bad decisions, ended up bad. But at the time, these guys were like well-respected coaches. Like they were like my buddy was like, yo, I met my wife from following some of the tips that these guys would give me. And really it was just about like, like one of the best things I ever heard was like, he was like, a lot of guys have approach anxiety. You see a beautiful girl, and you never talk to her. Why? Because you're fucking so afraid. But you got to realize these girls are just like you. They have insecurities. They're wearing a bunch of makeup. Like it's not that big of a deal. He's like, just use the Forrest Gump approach. You might be asking, what's the Forrest Gump approach? Well, what did he do to Jenny on the bus? Hi, my name's Forrest Gump. What's your name? Forrest Gump approach.
I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna use that.
Right?
I need help.
It's like
I need help.
The easiest thing in the world, right?
Holy shit.
Yeah, she's like,
Wait, Zach,
Get away from me, Kobe.
you know, like,
Dude,
all right. Yeah, at least you introduced yourself, shot your shot, right? But
that's how you met the Mexican Taylor
so
Swift.
that's how I was like, all right.
Did you go, hey?
Yeah, did you say your name was Forrest?
I was like, hey, my name's Blake Bilder.
Imagine.
My name's Forrest Gump. What's your name?
Blake. Dude, that's crazy.
So we're there. He gets triple gold. I meet this chick and I'm like, what? Yo, this chick is fire. Dang. You know, and then I'm like, and so I was like, all right, go say hi. So I go introduce myself. I didn't use the Forrest Gump approach. I was like, hey, what's up? My name's Blake. I was like, actually, I guess I was like, hey, my name's Blake.
Yeah.
Well, I was like, what's your name? And she's like, Nadalyn. I was like, oh, cool, Natalie. I was like, hey, my friend just went. She's like, no, Nadalyn. I was like, oh, sorry.
Was that on purpose?
Yeah. I was like,
crazy, dude.
Because he said not to be like too like conforming. to like,
yeah.
Oh, you like pizza? I like pizza. What? What's your favorite? Cheese. Oh my god, I knew you were gonna say that. I love fucking cheese. Why add all those toppings, right? You know, I don't know. So I go up to her, Blake, hi, nice to meet you. What's your name? Nadalyn. Natalie, cool. I was like, yeah, this guy, no, Nadalyn. I was like, oh, my bad. Sorry, Natalie. But my friend needs a picture over here. Could you take a picture real quick on the phone, real quick? I'm kidding, Nadalyn. I'm kidding. I was like, I know your name. I was just messing with you. And she's like, I was like, can you real quick? I was like, it would really help you. Just one triple gold. Like, special needs. I was like, and she's like, and it was a special needs tournament. And she was, I didn't know who the fuck she was. She was a coach for one of the special needs team out there. She would help out.
Wow.
And so she was like, oh, okay. And so she takes a bunch of pictures. And I was like, and then I go back. I was like, let me find out you took like 5 selfies. And she was like, what? No, I didn't. And I was like, I'm just messing with you. I was like, so Natalie, are you from around here? I thought she was really cute. And I was just like, hey, do you have Facebook? She's like, no, I don't have Facebook. I was like, kind of before Instagram. I was like, what? I was like, well, do you have a number? And she's like, yes. I was like, I want to put it in. I was like, maybe we could like hang out or like. And she was like, dude, and she actually gave me the right number. So funny thing is when I got her number and I had met her, I was like, wow. I was like, this chick's like, dude, I'm from fucking Minnesota. It's like Scandinavian chicks. I'm like not even really into white girls, you know? So I'm like, oh, what is like, I don't even know what Latinas are out there, you know? Like, but I'm willing to explore.
It's a whole other world.
Yeah, it's a whole other world, you know? Like
Minnesota girls were like not it. I remember.
Not it.
Yeah, that was brutal.
You know, lacking the vitamin D. You know,
it's
so
brutal. We walked through the Mall of America.
We're in a casino.
Yeah,
So
it
we're
was
staying in
pretty
a
bad.
casino. Yeah.
Oh, Mystic Lake.
Yeah, Mystic Lake.
Yeah, that's where we were.
Fought there a bunch.
It's pretty sick though there.
Mystic Lake is dope,
it.
dude.
It was nice.
Mystic Lake's super dope.
It's really dope.
Yeah.
That hotel that casino is really nice.
The casino
golf course.
The casino is sick.
It's
some
really
of some
nice.
good
Some
money
of the
there.
guys who live there, just like Denny, the guy that Juan's fighting, are blonde haired, blue eyed. I'm like, these people are Native American? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, oh, but they're like colonized, like Native American. Like they were like they were like the bad guy conqueror, like kind of like rapey guys, you know, right? Yeah, right?
It was
Kind of went in there and forced, you know?
I remember too.
Right? It's like, it's so bad. I'm so sorry.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna get canceled.
I remember too,
so
like
funny.
the day before we were supposed to fly out, our flight got canceled.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
And-
because of the snow.
Yeah, I don't know.
What was
why.
it? Sun Country Airlines.
Sun Country? Ever heard of Sun
Sounds
Country?
about. Oh yeah.
It was-
Fuck yeah.
It was brutal.
It sounded
Yeah.
sketch. We
It's
thought
worse
we got
than
scammed.
Spirit.
Yeah, if you're gonna do a flight to Minnesota, Delta is like
Yeah,
their
yeah.
main
No,
we
one.
learned that.
Delta's
Toby
so
told me,
nice.
he's like,
I was
listen,
like,
not
this
get
is
this
pretty
flight.
sketchy,
Yeah.
dude. So it gets canceled, and
Kinda
all of
didn't
us, all
listen.
the boys were like, what should we do? I'm like, guys, when are we ever going to go to Minnesota again? Like, we
yeah.
have to go.
Did you go to
So-
the Mall of America?
Yeah, we did.
Yep.
Yeah,
We
so
rebooked the
sick.
flight and we went, and you know what? It was one of the best trips ever. It was
Yeah.
so fun. It was a great time.
Zach
Great memory.
bailed.
You
Yeah,
won a lot of
I
money
bailed.
too.
I
playing
did. I
blackjack.
did. I played blackjack. I won like from 100 to 1,000 or 1,200.
Yeah.
Yo,
It was pretty
really?
good. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
That was
That's
pretty good.
great.
That was
Yeah,
really good.
I ran it
That's
up.
crazy.
Yeah,
Shout out Monty for the sponsorship.
Monty gave him like a money line.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he gave him like a little money, like a
Yeah.
startup.
That's
That was
funny.
good.
That's
And then
pretty
I
sick.
bought an outfit, and then I went back with $500, went all in on red, and
Lost it.
yeah,
He lost it all.
It'd be like that.
happens.
It's bad.
Oh man,
I went all in on Ethereum and during COVID.
that's good.
I made so much money.
Yeah,
That's what funded like
I have
all of
Ethereum
my
as well.
all of my training over the years. So
That's fire.
They technically sponsored myself. Yeah.
Ethereum is very good. Everyone's talking about the Ripple one now too, but I don't.
Yeah,
I don't know.
XRP.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not too familiar, but
Yeah, it's interesting. It'll be
I like
interesting
how
to see where it goes.
I do like your mindset is so different to the other fighters. I could already like off the bat, just
Yes.
because of your marketing and your like the way you go about your social media and the way you put yourself out there is different. It's really good.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate
but honestly,
that.
I'm serious because we're in the business of it, and
A lot
we
of people
see
don't
it.
have
We
the
really
self-branding.
like it. And when did you start seeing your social media sparking off? Was it you like when you and you still have to tell us like you get in how did like that feel to get into the UFC? Like did that help a lot on your social media, or like talk to us about that?
I want to know.
Yeah.
What was
yeah.
that called to get into the Contender Series? Like,
Let
Yeah.
me tell you real quick. Like, so I made a decision during that trip after I met the Nadalin, and I ended up staying in contact with her, and I ended up walking. I went for a run, and then I started walking in Long Beach. I go, you know what? I'm only one decision away from making my life out here. And I would look at other people and I go, look, you know, I'm not above or below anybody, for sure not. I'm like, but there's some people that I'm like, man, like these are just average people. I feel like I'm above average, or I would have an above average work ethic to get there. I go, if this person can do it, why can't I? If this person can make it out here, why can't I? And that was the moment I made that decision, and I knew that I would make my life out here. And I went back and I told my manager, boom, he got me into the fighter house. And
wow.
you know, getting into the UFC, let's backtrack a little bit. Like, getting into Dana White's Contender Series, right? Like a lot of people can screw themselves over on a deal, right? But I got a book that Tom recommended me. Shout out Tom.
What was the book?
It was called How to Negotiate Anything. And this guy that wrote it, he would do negotiations between the Middle East and the US for like the biggest negotiations. Like we're talking
sketchy.
billions, trillions, like he's talking oil companies,
Yep.
you know, he's talking about warfare, he's talking about weaponry. Like all of the top negotiations, this guy wrote the book. I forgot his name. I think it's Tim Cohen. How to Negotiate Anything, I know is the title. I forgot the author, which I should know, but it's been a while since I've read it. But I read that book, and I had a manager at the time. There was no contract, and I was about to sign with Iridium. And I had been with Iridium before, but I felt like they weren't giving me my fair play, and they were kind of giving me fights that were big, but a little bit too big too early. You know, like I'm glad that they had the belief in me, but I knew that I still needed like a few fights with guys with lower records. You know, like I don't want to go against a guy with like 15 pro fights when I have two or three, and my performances weren't. The way I felt in the cage wasn't the way that I would need to feel to fight that guy. You know what I mean? There's just like, there's experience that you need. So, where was I? So, so I'm negotiating with these guys, and the one is like, oh yeah, I can get you into the UFC, no problem. The person that I've been with, I'm like, all right, awesome. And then the other company, Iridium, is like, hey, we could get you into the UFC, absolutely. And so I'm like, all right, man, I got to put on my thinking cap, because which do I go with? You know, like I prayed for discernment, and I got it, because I felt like God led me to reading all the right things that I needed to read in that book. And he talked about like, if you are negotiating things, you have to have the person that you're negotiating make it worthwhile for you, and don't ever settle on the first thing. You know, like talk about it. It's just a conversation. Like they can just
even
say
if it's
no.
a good deal, don't ever settle. You think?
It just depends.
Yeah.
If you're really happy with the deal, but you can negotiate anything.
Yeah.
And he talks about it. He goes anything is negotiable. And like the way that he put it, I was just like, and when it's so fresh in your memory, you're just like, anything's negotiable. Like it was non-negotiable for me to move down here when I made that decision on the beach. So later on, I was like, it's non-negotiable for me to be in the UFC. I was destined to be there. I wrote it down 1 million times. It has to happen. I wrote it down. Like that was my mindset. So I go, okay, let's do this. Let's play a game. You're my old manager, right? You can get me into the UFC for sure. 100%. Yeah. You're the new guy. You can get me into the UFC.
I have a deal ready for you.
Yeah. Go. Whoever gets it first wins. Who would think that? Who would think that? Who would think that if they didn't and I didn't ask anybody. I just prayed about it and I read the book. And once again, I'm led. Like, dude, I like the power of prayer is just so crazy. Like, I met Tom after a morning of prayer, and I was like asking God. I was like, because I pray a lot, I read the Bible a lot. You know, it's like awesome, best book that you can read for wisdom. And I'm like, God, da, 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 da. And then I prayed, and I'm like, God, how do I even know I'm talking to you? How do I even know that I'm just not in my room, just like beside my bed, like saying words? And I just felt like there's just like another, I don't know. It's just like a higher form of consciousness, like within myself. It's just like, well, like, what do you do when you talk to me? I'm like now I'm like having a conversation with myself. So it seems, right? But it was a divine moment, like, cause it was a part of like history. And we're talking about big moments in time that changed the whole trajectory of your life. I mean, we've all had them. Like, look at how beautiful this is. I mean, there's some decisions that had to get made, right? And I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh, you know, like, what is this? Like, I pray to you all the time, but you know, like, but I don't think I ever really listened after I would pray. And I'm like, you know, how do I even know that I'm talking to? Like, what am I doing? Like, it's just aimless, like, words that are vaporous and going nowhere. And it's like, well, what do you do when you talk to me? And I was like, I talk to you. And I was like, yeah, but when you talk to me, what do you do? I'm like, I talk to you. I was like, no, you ask questions, right? I was like, yeah. And it was like, go back and read that verse again. It was Matthew 7:7. It said, asking you will receive, seeking you will find, knocking the door will be open to you. To any man who asks, receives. To him who seeks, he finds it. To him who knocks, the door will be opened unto him. And I was like, what? I was like, what does this mean? I was like, and it was like, read it again. And so I was like, ask, and we'll be gonna seek, and you'll find, knock on the door. ASK. Ask, seek, knock. Ask. What do you do when you pray? You ask. Ask questions. Conversation moves the nation, baby. Fucking ask. You gotta ask. All of them are actions too. Ask, seek, knock. And I was like, dude, I was like, what? I was like flexing him. I was like, yeah, let's go. Whoa. I was like, all right, I was like, this is insane. I like, bro, like, and it felt like
Something clicked.
It felt like I'm like being a crazy guy having a conversation with myself. But I think not enough people have conversations with themselves. But I used to walk home like 10 miles from school all the time, bike home 10 miles from school all the time. I could be that guy that said like, in the wintertime, 10 miles, you know, because fucking wintertime in Minnesota. And I did it, you know, and I spent a lot of time alone with myself, alone with my thoughts, thinking for myself, not in front of a screen. And in that moment, I was like, maybe I should humble myself and ask for help. That was, and I go on, and I was like, how do I do it? I was like, well, put something out on Facebook. That's why I met Tom.
Wow. And I'm gonna make it into modern times now. Like, how do you think a fighter can get into the UFC today? Like what is like a real thing someone can do though? Because I feel like times were definitely different back then.
Yeah.
Especially someone who doesn't have multiple agents.
Yeah.
Right? 'Cause
Yeah.
that's a lot. Most fighters aren't really like.
I mean, you got to know the right people. If I stay with old agent and I didn't go to you, would have never happened.
Yeah.
Would have never happened.
Wow.
And do you think too that it helps in this day and time being like a personality like you are on social media? Do you think that the UFC looks at that?
Oh, big time. That's why I was a little shocked that they let me go. I was like, I think at the
That's
time,
very shocking. Actually,
at the time they released me, I was at like I think 500,000 followers,
It's crazy.
and now I'm inching towards 700,000.
have you talked to them though to like, go back, or would you want to?
So you win a fight in the UFC, you're the man. You lose a fight in the UFC.
Yeah, but Tony lost 8.
Yeah, Tony was also like
Tony.
a wrecking machine. He was so
I know.
entertaining.
He was amazing. He's my favorite fighter.
Yeah, I mean, he's
probably fighting demons
incredible.
right
Yeah.
Jeez.
You know,
Going
so
through a
I
lot.
think you have to be well versed. You have to be well rounded. You have to be entertaining in those fights. You know, you really cannot play it safe. It's gotta really be kill or be killed. I felt like I was a little bit too risk averse in my last fight for sure. Just like too many chefs in the kitchen. You know, I think what I mean by that is coach with conflicting ideas. Hey, Blake, you got to do this. Blake, I think you should do this. Well, which one do I do? You know, and so having a good team that knows you and can push you to the right amount and get you good sparring and having a team that also supports you and is just there for you and a good support system. You know, having friends that aren't necessarily yes men, but people that you can really trust and rely on. And the people at Team Oyama were very trustworthy. You know, you were able to rely on them. Their discipline was there. Everybody showed up when they were supposed to. Nobody had any sick days there. You know, like we were on it, and it was a good unit. And when you give a fighter or somebody that's starting to go into like limelight quick, they can get distracted very easily, and you see it from the best of the best. You know, where things are going up, the trajectory's great, and then boom, they get caught off guard. You know, they get distracted. You know, and at the time, you know, it was frowned upon for a fighter or a grappler or anybody to be showing off all their moves and like making content. You know, it's like, you know, you're just a social media fighter.
I still think fighters some are like that though. Still,
yeah,
like,
some, you know,
a lot of them are.
Did you have people around you that judged you for doing that? In the
Oh, for
beginning?
sure. Yeah. I mean, you get done with the tough.
Especially in the beginning.
They're
right?
so jealous.
Yeah,
dude.
because you don't have the social proof yet.
No,
Yeah.
you're just doing stuff, and then people are like, "What is this guy doing?"
Yeah, but you know, God gives you a vision without sight. So when I close my eyes, I see things. I see my future. I see what it looks like. I see the people around me. I see how I see how I look. I see the joy. I see fulfillment and satisfaction. You know, those are things that you know, right now, us looking around, we're just right here. You know, we're just in a room. You know, but I feel like when I close my eyes, I have vision, and I wanted to utilize my imagination. And there's no better time. There's no better time after a workout. If you want to give a pep speech, you'll never give a better pep speech than right after sparring or right after a really, really hard workout when you're exhausted and you put everything that you had into it. And maybe you didn't think you could go another round, you went another round. Maybe you didn't think you could do that you could last a round or even beat, you know, Cheeto or Alex Perez or, you know, like, or Fernando or like, you know, all these high level guys in a round. You know, I got Cheeto back. He got me Tuesday. I got him back Thursday. And then Colin goes, hey, Blakey, I know what you're thinking. And because I was sitting there, I was like, fuck yeah.
You're hyped.
I got him. I got him. You know, like I got him. I got him back.
How's your relationship to Cheeto right now?
You know what? We're cool.
Are you guys training still a little bit, or
no, not at all. I haven't really been in the MMA gym or in the boxing gym. Me and my boxing coach talked today, and we might run some pro boxing fights.
That's cool.
But
I'm excited. That'll be
but yeah,
sick.
you know, I think you know, I would go back and probably do some training with Cheeto. You know, it's not going to be fun. He's good. He's good. You know, it's like sometimes it's like all right, like for instance, right? It's like with high level guys in the jiu-jitsu gym. Yeah. Like sometimes you don't always go with the black belts cuz like black belts going with black belts cuz you don't really get to work on like some of the techniques that, you know, like you don't get to like work on like maybe new stuff, but you got to rely on like old games. So it kind of keeps you doing like the same stuff. Striking's a little bit different. Striking is like you know, like sometimes like you can build each other up, but you got to have like you got to have good reasoning, good pay coming in, like to go against, you know, like the TJ Dillashaws and the Cheeto Veras out there, you know, and you know, and I'm one of them too. But there's some guys that just go, like me. I can go, but like I'll pull back if I see you're like, you know, struggling.
Hey guys, yes, I'm on a private jet, and none of this would be possible without our sponsor, Zill Media. If you need any social media or any content done, or even start a podcast like ours, they are the best in the business. Go to zillmedia.com and mention Basement Talk for a discount on their services. Now let's get back to the episode.
Let's get off this fake jet. Go get back to the episode.
Yeah, and work with you.
Is it true too that your first UFC fight you bought a Lamborghini?
Oh, so
that was crazy. I saw that video.
So this. You know, so it's also marketing. Like
that was content.
Yeah.
That was
you know,
crazy.
so you don't, but a lot of people were like, yo, like what?
Yeah, that was wild.
I bought a Rollie.
Fuck yeah.
I bought a Rollie, but I didn't buy the Lambo.
That's
but
good content.
But also at the same time, you know, like Tom would always tell me back in the day, he's like, because he showed me his bank account. I was like, how'd you get so many zeros in there? He goes, want me to show you? I was like, yeah. And he was like, he goes, because, well, he asked me, it was the first time I met him, right? I put up that post. He goes, hey, might be for you, might not be. He goes, tell me a little bit about yourself. Tell me about myself. You know, it's like, grew up alcoholic father, single mother household, older brother, younger brother. Older brother, same dad, younger brother, different dad, you know, and it was just chaos growing up. You know, it's like, my mom dated scumbags, you know, like these hood ass dudes that like were just like bad dudes, like either gangsters. One was a pedophile, raped one of my older brother's friends. Like when my mom was out of town, you know, and my mom would move these guys in right away. So I was just like, yeah, I was like, you know, it's just fucking crazy. And he was like, this fucking math ain't math. And he's like, look, man, you ever met a millionaire? I was like, yeah, met a millionaire the other day. I was at his house. He's like, he show you his bank account? I was like, no. And he's like, how you know he's a millionaire? I was like, well, I guess I don't. And he's like, want to see something cool? I was like, yeah. And he's like, come on. And he was like, see this? I was like, bro, what? I was like, how'd you get so many zeros in there? And he's like, this is one of them. I was like, what the fuck, bro? And it's like a rinky-dink office, not nice like this, rinky-dink. You'd never know. Doesn't dress up, like dress down. And I was like, why is this guy showing me this? He's like, look. He goes, I don't know. He's like, maybe they are, right? And he goes, but there's a lot of people out there faking the funk. So I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to tell you this right now. He's like, he goes, how about you come work with me? Fucking we go and get a bunch of money in your pocket. That girl that cheated on you with your teammate, he goes, how about we fucking find you a bunch of new girls that are way finer than her? And he's like, and we get a bunch of money in your bank account where you reach in your pants and you don't have to only feel your leg. I'm like, hell yeah, let's do it. And he's like, but hey, nobody's telling us their secrets, so we ain't telling them ours. I was like, yeah. So, you know, part of it is I mean, it's the art of deception. You know, it's the art of wars. You know, you don't let them know your every move. You know, I don't give out my strategy of what I'm gonna do to fight the next guy. You know, I gotta have an element of surprise. And, you know, it's like you come out to Orange County and I'm like, man, you know, this guy, da. You know, but then you're around somebody with money. Like my roommate, he owns his house. And he has 2 properties in Irvine. And I was like, damn. I was like, this guy, da. He goes, does he lease it or own? I was like, I think he leases it. He's like, where does he live? I was like, over here. He's like, apartment, right? I was like, yeah. He's like, doubt he owns it. I was like, yeah, huh? He goes, don't fall into this hype shit. He goes, most of these people out here are faking the funk. He's like, and they ain't got shit. He goes,
it's very true.
He goes, look, I don't have to brag about where I live and like what I do. And he goes, you see me dress up? You see me wear fucking shiny shit all the time? He's like, no. He's like, but I own my house and I own my cars and I don't lease shit and I ain't renting nothing. And he's like, so teach their own. He goes,
saying,
but
there's like a own not borrowed thing. Someone's you've seen that before?
I haven't seen that, but
pretty good.
But
what did Tom see in you too that like was different from other people? What do you think it was that like he?
Well, he came to the boxing, or he came to the MMA gym, and this guy was like, he's like an old guy, but he had more energy than anybody I've ever seen in my entire life. And this guy was like, hey, oh, what's up? Oh man, this guy's big and strong. He's like, look at this guy, and he's like, and he just talk up everybody, you know. And I was like, man, this guy's cool. He's like, hey, I built you guys some benches, so when you're sitting and you're changing, because they just had like a little cloth and you go into like this little like area and had a cloth, and that's where you change. Everybody would change, you know. And he put benches in there. He's like, after a workout, I don't know, I'm kind of tired. I want to sit down. I'm a little old. He's like, so I want to sit down and change in and out of my stuff. And I just thought he was cool, you know. And then me and him hung out, you know, and kind of started getting to know him, and we just had a lot in common, you know. And I was like, you know, he had been to prison, you know, he got out, and you know, his family kind of like disowned him from that point. He came out here and made a living, but you know, all the guys in my life that my mom dated, you know, like my, you know, Boo, he was Blackstone from the south side of Chicago, you know, smashed the rock, you know, and he ended up going on vacation, you know, 12 years in the Texas penitentiary. You ain't doing 12 years for stealing a candy bar, bro. You know, he got I think caught up on like some RICO charges and some pretty serious like drug offenses, you know. So he ended up doing 10. I think he built up some drug debt while he was in prison, and ended up you know, getting it drawn out a little bit longer. You know, 'cause he's got to put in work for his people.
How did you channel all this like negative around you into positive and hard work and your brain? What would you say? Was it?
That's my faith.
Yeah.
That's my faith. Yeah. Like I wasn't like people were like, oh, I feel actually a little bit fortunate that I didn't grow up in the church. And, because even like being a Christian for like a little while, sometimes I can ruin the beauty of the forest by some of the ugliness of its trees, right? And I know I'm far from perfect. Like I'm so far from perfect I can't even see straight. I definitely fall short. I was just getting in a lot of trouble, bro. I was getting a lot of underage drinking tickets. I was getting into fights all the time. They wouldn't let me on the football team. That's how I started boxing. Because it wouldn't. And boxing wasn't a part of the school. It was in the hood, on the east side of St. Paul, over by the state capitol. Over in a town called Frogtown that my dad used to live around. It's like crackheads and drug dealers, it was just bad, and so for me, I just used working out, bro. Like it was just like my escape, and it was my escape from my reality. I didn't want to be home. This is probably the only time in my life that I've ever felt comfortable at home, because when my dad would come back, he was sober for a little bit and he was cool, but then, he's severely bipolar, and schizophrenic, and he doesn't mind being in jail. He doesn't mind being incarcerated. He's been incarcerated his whole life, and so, he'd get real drunk and he'd get violent and he threatened to beat my mom. And, those were like one of my earliest childhood memories, him like fucking my mom up in the trailer park. And it was just like fucked up, So when he would come back, my mom just wanted my dad to be around. She thought that would be like good for us, and she just miscalculated, and I can't hold that against her. She's a saint, she did the best that she could. She's just a kid raising kids. And it wasn't until I got my faith, at 20, that things started to change for me.
And how did you get your faith?
Yeah, I was gonna ask.
So funny question. So I would run by the church all the time. I'd see these people kissing and hugging each other. They just seemed like they're having the time of their lives. It seemed like, from the outside, I'm comparing my insides with their outsides, which is what we all do, to some sense, right? And I'm like, man, these people at church, I don't know what it is about them, but man, they seem really happy. They seem like they got it going on. And I would run a lot, and I would run with headphones in, and I would steal my brother's iPod Touch.
Those things are dope.
Yeah, it was the sickest. I was like, what? Yeah. iPad, and it's all bulky. It's like thin, and like it's got all the stuff. Yeah. What? And so like I would do that. I'd run to music that we would steal on LimeWire and shit. And I got this new track, can't wait. Got the skull candies in.
Oh, the skull candies.
Remember? Yeah. And so I'm running like I got my own theme song, like just feeling the best of it. And that's when I felt free. That's when I felt good, was when I was working out away from the house, moving, doing something outside of my fucking house. My house was like a prison. It was like I just didn't want to be there, and it took me a really long time to like feel comfortable. Just
really
like
quick too, I want to say something. Not even close to like what you've dealt with, but I've talked about it on the show a bunch. I lived in Europe, and for a whole, like, I would say 3-4 months, when I was 15, I lived in Scotland. I was away from home, and I've never said this in my life, but that first like 3-4 months, dude, like I cried every night.
Yeah.
And I felt sick because I was homesick. I was starting a new school, like felt so sick. Like I wanted to just go work out and be outside. And I played professional soccer, so that's why I lived there.
Oh shit.
But I would like hate being inside of that house, like, because I just wanted to be outside. Like that feeling that you're saying is like I couldn't wait to like wake up and just like go outside and like be on the field. Like not even the school or like not anywhere else, but like that was like a really bad feeling I'd have, like really bad, like anxiety, like crying a lot by myself. It's dark, like feeling super sick. Like, dude, it was like bad. But then when I'd go outside, like out on the field and like the ball would be rolling and we'd be playing and working out or lifting weights, like I'd be so free. Like I know that same feeling, you know? It's totally different to you, but like
it's similar though.
Yeah.
You know, it's like those feelings are real, you know, and trauma's trauma. You know, like it doesn't matter if you're in a 10-year marriage or a 10-week relationship. You know, the feelings are still the same, and that's what a lot of people misunderstand. You know, everybody's experience is very valid. You know, so also learned that from like some guys like that became like life coaches after like RSD. He's like think about the trauma. He's like, why are so many guys afraid to approach somebody? Well, it's like you go and approach a girl in like second grade and she turns you down. It's the most embarrassing thing you've ever heard and you've ever felt in your life. You feel stupid, you feel rejected, you know, like and people are harsh to you, you know, and it's and those are deep-seated memories. So it's like we live to be, you know, comfortable. You know, our body wants to protect us and keep us comfortable, you know, and so so we don't want to do that because it might cause us pain, you know. And then at 15, like, dude, when you're a kid, like you're just a kid, you're 15, you know, and like you're in a different country.
I never thought it would hit me like that.
Yeah,
like I always got homesick, and like it's funny because my parents used to laugh. Like even when I was like really young, like I would cry like before school because like I just didn't want to go.
Yeah,
and dude, I had to, and it's always been my dream. Like I since I was little, I was like, I want to be a pro soccer player. I want to be a pro soccer player, and I finally had the opportunity to go pursue it at such a young age because that's kind of when you start getting really into it in soccer.
Oh, you weren't there with your family?
No, I was alone.
Oh, it was just you.
Yeah, and lived with a different family.
Whoa, that's crazy.
That's what was like really jacked up for me. It wasn't jacked up. It was a blessing. It was amazing. But still, that first, like, I specifically remember that first 3 months, 4 months, it was tough.
Yeah.
Because I was like, just new kid in town. Everyone's looking at me. How am I going to perform? But also that it's like when you get into a bad breakup.
Oh yeah.
With a girl and you're laying in bed at night and it's that nighttime when you have all those worries. Like,
yeah, what is she doing?
Is she texting my friend? What is she doing? Is she out? Or what is she doing up? Is she going to post something?
Yeah.
Like it's the same feeling that I had when I was 15.
Man.
And all I wanted to do was go outside and work out.
Yeah, just
that's all I wanted to do.
Anything to take your mind off of it and away from it.
Like I specifically remember too, bro, being in the bed, like thinking like I can't wait to just be on the field tomorrow. Like thinking about the trees, like thinking about the grass, like just like that's how grateful I was to be outside on that field.
Yeah, you know, I think life is really that simple too. You know, it's like I don't think it's really about like the nice watch and the cool 100%. Cars and the clothes. You know, I think it's just about finding things in life that can bring you peace, and that's like what I found with my faith. You know, because it was always chaos at home. You know, because you never knew who was like. You know, I mean, you're just going about your day, and then like, who is this guy in the kitchen?
Did that kind of give you like a little urge to like learn how to fight too?
Oh yeah,
like those guys being around like your mom, yourself. And like seeing someone like beat your mom up. Did that make you want to learn how to like fight more?
Yeah, because I remember.
Or did you go after him when you saw it?
No, so I went and did. I was like extremely suicidal. After, because I dipped out of the house like kind of abruptly at the Fighter House. And then I moved to North Scottsdale with this guy, Josh, and he was sponsoring me at the time. He had a nutrition company called Field Supplements. And he didn't tell his roommate that I was coming. So I was kind of like, and like, so there's just a lot of miscommunication. He was going through his own stuff. And Josh is like killing it now. He's sober. He's doing good. But he wasn't sober at the time. And, you know, like we're all just like young and trying to figure things out. And he had a lot of pressure on his back. And he was like dealing with things the wrong way. And so I moved out with him. And his roommate's like, oh, you can't, who the fuck is this guy? He's like, oh, we'll move into a new place. He's like, I'm not moving into a new place. I was like, wait, did I just move out of a place where I was getting free rent and had like a network of people that I was training and like a gym that I could train at and everything to come out here being promised that I was going to be able to stay here. And then now I can't stay here. And I'm like, oh no. And then it was October. So it was sober October. I came back, met with some people that were like, hey, like you could probably stay here. Like Carla Esparza. She was like, come back. You come back and train at the gym. Like it'll be all good, whatever. And I met with my massage therapist because I was like all beat up because I just got done with that fight. I was still hurt from it. My orbital was like still hurt. And so I get massage. I head back and I'm telling him all about this. I'm like, yeah, it's not what it was all cracked up to be. I think I made a big mistake. And he hits me up on the way back and he goes, hey, I have a buddy who has a room for rent in Costa Mesa. And he could probably rent it to you. It's like good price, He's super cool. I was like, okay. I was like, yeah, let him know. And so I get off the phone with him. I was like, Costa Mesa. It's like, sounds kind of ghetto. I was like, I don't want to be in ghetto anymore.
That's funny.
And then he's like, he shoots me the address and I look it up and I'm like, yo, what? I hit him. I was like, yo, is this a prank? He's like, no, dude, he's got a spot and he needs to fill it. He's got the whole house to himself. I was like, okay, sick. Yeah. So I kind of like, I didn't tell my buddy, like, I was just like, he was like, yeah, you know, like, we'll do this, you know, and like, that's if you're going to stay. And I think he kind of knew that I was like plotting. And I was like, yeah. And he's like, you are staying, right? I was like, well, he's like, I knew it. I was like, come on, John. I was like, dude, I was like, come on, man. Like, dude, you really expect, you didn't even tell him I was moving in here. I'm just sitting in the middle of the room on a blow up mattress.
Wow.
That's
and this guy's mean mugging me and he's on steroids. And now like he's doing a bunch of coke. I was like, so
not a good situation.
And I'm like 3.5 years sober. So I get out of there, move into this new house, but I'm feeling the weight of the mistakes that I made. You know, like I'm kind of not welcome back to the old gym because I left abruptly. Thought I was going to make my life out in North Scottsdale. It didn't work out. And then I'm at this new spot. I have everything, but I feel empty. And I'm like, oh gosh, you know, like I'm going to a 12-step program, you know, I'm sober. And I'm like, dude, I'm like, you know, suicide is like something that I've always like, just kind of like, you know, I always just like wanted an out, you know, I was just like, oh, it'd just be so, it's not like I ever would, but like sometimes like, I don't know. I just like my mind played tricks on me. Like it was like my whole life. I always kind of felt like that. And I was like, look, I'm either going to take my life or I'm going to like get a charger at Walmart and charge my phone, order this ticket and go to the deepest depths of Peru in the jungle and take ayahuasca. And so that's what I did.
Damn.
I got on I was like, well, if Walmart's open, I'll get the charger and I'll charge my phone and I'll buy the ticket. Walmart was open. So I was like, all right, take my life or give myself another chance. So
How old were you?
I was, that was 6 years ago.
Wow.
Crazy.
Yeah. So I was 29. Yeah.
How was that experience?
Oh, it was crazy, bro. It was like, It was really eye-opening. It really made me have a lot of compassion for like for my dad. It was like there's like this moment where like you're drinking the brew, you're in this big Mailoka, and there's all these like yoga mats, and then they light a candle in the middle, and there's this shaman Don Lucho. They're war paint vested up, big feathers on. Nobody speaks a lick of English except for the one lady, Renee. You know, so they're singing at Icaros, which is supposed to guide your spirit, and they're playing music, and they're like, and do 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 do, Madre ayahuasca, 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 and you're just like, what the fuck?
How did you remember that? That's crazy.
Brew, and you're like, oh,
was that your
gosh.
first time doing the psychedelics too?
I'd done mushrooms a bunch of times and acid a few times, and those were beautiful experiences, like life-changing for the better. So I would, like, when I took mushrooms for the first time, I saw everything like that everything was constant, that nothing is in a static state, that everything is like, whether we perceive it, is constantly moving.
Yeah.
Always. It's this constant flow. And like you would look at like a piece of wood, and you would see the wood that's right there, but the pattern on it, the life of it, which is what those grooves are, which is why they have the rings to show like its lifespan. Like a tree shows its life by how many like rings it is on it. You could tell how many years old it is. Oh, okay, 50 years, 50 rings. You can see its lifespan. So you'd see that pattern on the wood. You'd look at it, it'd be still, but the pattern would like be moving. And I was like, interesting. You know, it's not scary. You're just like, oh wow, I never perceived it like that.
What's crazy too is you're not the only person that's come on our show and said like ayahuasca's really helped them in their life and changed their life.
So when I dated Nadalyn, she left for the military, and I just heard George St. Pierre last night talking about how it gave him like a mirrored perspective, and I was like, oh my gosh, I had the same thing. Because what it did is like I would like close my eyes and it was like this almost like lady that I would hear speaking to me. It was like, oh, how are you? I was like, oh, everything's great. I was like, oh, okay, cool. And it's like, well, let's just go through like a filing cabinet of stuff. And it was like going through all these folders. Boom. What about this here? Let's address this.
You saw all this?
Yeah. And it was like a filing cabinet. Like imagine your life in categories. Boom, boom. Relationships. Boom. Every relationship you've ever had. Come in contact with, intentionally, unintentionally, even in the room.
Like woman and men and woman, like your whole life.
Anybody you've made eye contact with.
Oh my gosh.
In a file cabinet stored like the rabbit hole runs deep. Like it is such an intelligent like permeation of life that we're living right now that is so beyond the scope of like imagination and so beyond what we're used to with our five senses. You know, it's like you take our eyesight, our smell, you take our five senses away. Are you alive? If you can't see, smell, hear, or taste, are you alive? Like if you went into like a floating tank and you don't have any of your senses,
Just nothing.
what are you?
Yeah.
Other than like thought, right? Pitch black, darkness. So it's just interesting. I've always studied the mind, and I've always, because like I wanted to know like why all this chaos is going on around me, and I wanted to know if I could reprogram the subconscious mind that is supposed to be programmed from 0 to 7. And I found out that it was pretty malleable and that you can do it. And it's based on repetition and becoming, and it's like conscious competence, unconscious competence, conscious incompetence, and then unconsciously competent, which means like, it's like didn't know how to tie your shoes, go to tie your shoes for the first time, you're talking to me, I'm like, whoa, calm down, bro. Like, I'm trying to tie my shoes here. I can't fucking do all this work. I'm just trying to figure this out. It's like driving a stick, right? Yeah. Like driving a stick, you're fucking it up. Somebody's trying to talk to you, bro, chill.
Yeah.
I'm trying to drive this stick. I don't know how to do it yet. But after you do it like 100 times, right? 1,000 times, 2,000 times.
Yeah.
Oh, then you're fucking. Then you're on your phone texting
and driving.
You're driving. You're having a conversation with them. You're eating. You're eating a snack.
Yeah.
You become unconsciously. You're not even thinking about it, and you're doing it. Competent, unconscious, competent is the highest pillar of learning. It's to not have to think about it, but be able to free flow with it. And so when I got there, she showed me a filing cabinet. What about this? It was my ex-girlfriend. Nadalyn. She was like, hey, do we stay together when I go to the military? I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't think that you were going to go to the military. She's like, I've been telling you about this. I'm like, oh gosh, yeah, we have a decision to make. And I was like, hey, I'm just going to focus on fighting. You focus on the military. Because I don't know if you're going to get stationed in California. And I don't know what that's going to look like. And I was like, and I don't want anything to happen. And I cheat on you. And that's not something that I align with anymore. I don't cheat, because I worked a 12-step program. I made amends, and I can't make amends to a girl that I cheated on by going ahead and cheating again. Like that's contrary action. So I'm like, oh yeah, like I made amends to her. It was all good. And she's like, no, it's not all good. And I was like, oh, what? I was like, yeah, no, like. It is good. I made amends. She's like, no, look, see, that's the problem with you, is you logically understand that you made the amends, that you did the thing. I was like, but when you were making amends, was it felt and reciprocated in a positive manner? I was like, not really. She's like, yeah.
When was this? This is in
2018.
Oh, so okay.
2018 of January or February.
And do you still talk to her now?
No. I think she's got some pretty big resentments against me. I think she just unblocked me on Instagram not too long ago.
Damn.
But I mean, she unblocked me and you're like 700,000 followers. You're like,
yeah.
She's like, I'm supposed to hate you. Now I hate you more because you're successful,
Since 2018, you grew like 300K.
Yeah, and I'm and I'm putting out a bunch of videos and like people.
You're pumping content?
Yeah, it'd be, like.
Ninja of the day?
You unblock me and I'm all over your feed with like 3 videos every single day. She's like, she's like, I don't know if I'm like, I think she blocked me again.
Does it definitely help getting chicks when you have more followers?
Yeah. Like it's like, I mean, it's just so easy.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Like I don't even really like, like I'm like I'm kind of
the DMs are probably.
Has a girl ever asked you to do one of those ninja moves on them?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, a girl.
You've done.
Okay, no. Okay, wait. Let's talk about the freaking Street Fighter guy.
Yes, I wanted to talk about this too.
Okay, let me finish up the ayahuasca story real quick. Yeah, and then we'll go to Street Fighter guy. Street Fighter. All right, that must be addressed because everybody wants to know about it. So I do the ayahuasca, right? I'm in the hut, and like, bro, all of a sudden my eyes start burning.
Okay, but this is okay. Really quick. This is after you're going through the files when your eyes are closed.
Yeah, went through the files. We have to address this, and then I have that conversation. How long is the trip? It's like 2.5 hours.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah, and so I'm like having this conversation with this like chick in my head or whatever, and I'm like, and she's like, yeah, no, logically you understand, but emotionally you have no idea. Boom. It's like I get brought through a wormhole. My eyes are burning. I'm like, oh my gosh, what? And then I start walking around and I am not in a hut anymore. And I go and I'm like just trying to find like some relief. And I'm like, I go in and I sit down on this bed and I'm like, what the heck? This little bunker. this little bunk, and I'm like, and I reach underneath and I see an envelope and it has my handwriting on it. And it's addressed to Nadalin. And I was like, and I'm like this, I open it and I open it like this, and I just see tear. And I just see water, just like all over this as it gets read, and like my eyes are burning. And then I just see it like get like torn up and crumpled and thrown, and then boom. And I'm like, and I come back and I'm like, what the and like later I found out she had gotten pepper sprayed that day that she read my letter. So it was like I had this like experience where I was her feeling all the emotions. When she read that, she started crying, and I felt this like deep sense of abandonment, betrayal, like sadness, like depression and anxiety, you know? And I just, and I personally just started bawling, and I was like, oh my gosh. She's like, you logically understand, but you don't emotionally think of how you affected somebody else. And she showed me this grid, and then it boom goes out, and it's this big grid, kind of like you would see in like an old school like 80s thing, like like all black with like little purple lines like this, right? Like a big grid.
Yeah.
And so it's like this going all across, and it has like and it takes a piece of this fabric from the grid, and it starts pulling it like this, like a teardrop, and it starts pulling it up. And she's like, you see this? She's like, you see this fine little piece of fabric? She's like, every time you and her spent any moment or decisions or had any talks or any time where you were bonding and connecting, this starts growing and growing and growing. She shows it, she's lifting it up. And when you wrote that letter, she's like, you cut it off. Boom, and it starts dropping towards the grid, and it goes in, boom, and it just creates these giant ripples, these giant waves, boom, 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 and ripples off into like this like never-ending, timeless, spaceless grid. And I was like, what the fuck? She's like, that's how hearts break different. It's all the emotions and the memories and the choices and the decisions and the energy and the focus and the intention and the attention that was put into that fine fabric of a relationship. Yeah. And you cut it off. And that's how you affected her. And that's how you affect everybody. And you don't think about, and I was like, I didn't know. She goes, yeah, but you did. And I was like, I didn't though. And she's like, no, you did. You knew that you weren't that serious with her. She felt that you weren't connecting as much as you guys were before. And you didn't have, she's like, you didn't have the, you didn't even have the thought to like be honest with her, be straight up and let her know, hey, yeah, I'm starting to, no, instead you drag things on as long as they can, and you lead her on, and you hurt people. And I was like, fuck. And I'm just like, I'm bawling. I'm like, fuck. Gosh. I was like, I didn't know. She goes, I know you didn't know that. And that's why we're here. And that's why this happened.
Holy shit.
And I was like,
that's crazy.
Jeez. And that's why I had to say it.
Dude, no.
Next one was my dad.
That's the craziest
up
thing.
Up in the corner of a cell.
But this is, the next one is your dad, but this is a whole other trip.
Yeah, it's like run right after. She's like, no, what about your dad? I'm like, fuck my dad. She's like, oh really? Boom, like wormhole.
Gosh,
I see this guy laying on a cement like bed in the fetal position, grinding his teeth back and forth. And I was
That's like
like
next to you, some guy next to you.
I'm like in the corner, so I have like God's view.
Like
okay, but
I'm like a security camera.
You're in a hut.
I'm in a hut
the whole time.
God.
You're
the whole time.
physically
I'm
in
the whole
hut.
time. I'm like this, really.
How long did the trip feel too?
Oh, dude, it felt like I don't even know. Like it's it feels like a lifetime. It feels like a journey. Like you're going and feeling and seeing and like those little wormhole things. I experienced that. Like just being like almost like an astral projected like ghost like specter like traveling like through space. And like, dude, I was up in the corner looking at my dad grinding his teeth in a jail cell and just shivering cold. And she goes, fuck that guy. And I was like, what? And she's like, fuck that guy, right? Him? And I just started bawling again.
Yeah.
She goes, look, the way that you perceive him is the way he perceived his father. He just wanted his dad's love, and you don't know. Like he did the best he could with what he had, but he couldn't get past his vices, and that was drinking and doing the next right thing and trying to sober up for his family. And he just kept falling back into the same cycles. And it's because, she's like, you think he's there because he wants to be? He doesn't know. He literally is clueless, unaware. And she's like, and she's like, and when he was tried as a juvenile, but as an adult, she's like, do you think that they played fair with him when he went to an adult detention center? And so, I guess he got molested, pretty badly. So after being a juvenile, going to an adult detention center, and you get raped, are you ever really going to be the same? I wouldn't. So I was just like crying and so compassionate for him. I was just like, man, it's like, just really understanding that, like, man, like, like a lot of the times we judge, right? And we're like, oh, this person's da 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 da, but we have no idea what their background looks like.
Oh, for sure.
It doesn't make the behavior right if it's bad, but
you can understand.
But it's coming from us. I just it's just coming from an understanding point of just being empathetic, and just understanding there's always two sides to a coin. Yeah. If I was Nadalin too, I'd fucking hate me. Yeah. Fucking asshole. Fucking guy. Yeah, fuck Blake.
We had 700K.
Yeah, what do you do as a
yeah. She's like, I left him. He had 5K.
Yeah.
No, he's almost at 700.
Yeah, you're like, what the fuck?
You're like popping up in her feed.
He
now,
blew
too.
up. Well,
When I got in the UFC, it was like every ex-girlfriend, like every girl.
up?
Oh yeah.
Are you serious?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Wow.
So for like when that starts happening, you're just like, oh, like,
Get out of here.
Does it disgust you a little bit too? Like that would disgust me. If that
it's a bit like, and I knew you would do it. I'm like, you did not know I would do it. You specifically
I knew you would
said
do it.
that I didn't know where I was going.
Wow.
You specifically
And then
said-
hooked up with my teammate.
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
And then lied to me
You're
about
dating
it.
her?
Huh?
You were dating her?
Yeah.
Fuck.
She hooked up with my teammate.
What's
And
it-
then
what-
those
are
two
you-
like
do you have a
were
girl
boyfriend,
now,
girlfriend.
or no?
Yeah, I got a chick.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Do you have any kids?
No kids. No kids. Yeah, cool Persian chick.
Nice,
Yep.
dude.
Super cool.
Awesome.
Super cool.
Good.
Yeah, she's a good girl. Yeah, she's got like a little company that she's starting up.
Awesome.
Same thing. Nobody really like believed in her either. She's had like
Good.
some bad guys in her past that didn't treat her good, and she's like, this is an awesome human being. She's like my best friend.
You like
Awesome.
Persian food?
Love Persian food, dude.
So good.
Yeah, Mediterranean,
We
Middle
gotta take you to
Eastern.
the spot. We got the best spot.
Oh yeah, lunch. All right.
No, lunch.
That's an inside joke. But what was that question that you
Street
asked?
No,
Fighter.
so let's finish it
Oh, the
off.
street
Let's finish the show.
Oh
off
yeah,
with
the
that.
Street Fighter.
With
Okay.
The Street Fighter. Okay,
Okay.
that video was crazy.
Yeah,
dude.
so crazy, right? So my life, dude, is so silly when I am on point. Like even for me to be here with you guys, like I can't express my gratitude and how blessed I am I've been praying on my knees a lot lately, and like I get, and you know, like I don't know where to go next or what to do. I feel like everything I do is like wrong sometimes. People want me like to like sign this business deal or do this. You know, people hit you up out of left and right. So I've just been praying for a lot of discernment, and a lot of like really good people have been coming in my life, such as you guys. You know, so
Thank you, bro.
I really appreciate you guys. And what the hell was this? Oh yeah, and then so cool things happening, cool things correlating, right? So I'm at church. There's a guy like, you know, hey, I've been noticing you've been doing some cool stuff. You know, like I work with TMZ. He's like, so I'd love to like be able to do a report on you. I was like, oh, dude, that'd be fantastic, absolutely. And shortly after that, a guy that I used to train, he used to work for the Nelk Boys, and so he'd give me a bunch of full send gear. Adrian Verdult.
Yeah, I think I know him.
Yeah, you might.
He sounds familiar.
Yeah, he's around your age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super cool.
Yeah.
Huh.
He went to school over here too.
Okay.
That sounds very familiar.
Yeah.
Right?
Adrian.
I think he's friends with he's friends with what's the guys he came on our podcast, Seventh Heaven?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Back at OG. We just had Jimmy Gambles on.
Okay.
He's
The
like one of the
Nelk
Nelk boys.
Oh, really?
So
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, he came here 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, those
Yeah.
guys
They're
are
killing it.
those
I'm
guys
so
are
proud of them.
those guys are killing it.
Yeah,
They're
they are.
so
Well,
amazing.
when people would run up, they would do the prank. When people would run up, they'd always try and break Adrian's camera.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, they would attack him. Like,
Oh,
you know,
shit.
get the evidence, right?
Yeah.
You know, right?
Yeah.
That's a
knock that
sketchy
thing.
job.
Yep.
Right. So, and then, you know, if you're trying to have a girlfriend or you're trying to build your life out here in Orange County, which is awesome, you know, like you kind of want to be settled in, you know, and with the Nelk Boys, they were traveling all over the place all the time, you know, and they took care of him and he got paid good and he did really well. And it was like right when they were like blowing up, and he like, he told me how much like they were making. He's like, keep it hush. So I'm like ratting him out right now. But
No, I bet it's, I bet it's a lot, a big number.
Yeah.
it was crazy what they would sell out in like a 1 hour drop.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
I
remember
was
back
like,
in the day.
what?
Yeah.
So he stops working for the Nelk Boys. He starts filming for local rappers and making music videos for them for free. That was his like shtick. He's like, I'm gonna make sick videos for these rappers and just shout me out. You know,
That's dope.
it's like a
good idea.
Mike Will made it or like
Yeah.
whatever
Yeah,
or
yeah.
Lyrical Lemonade,
yeah,
right?
Cole Bennett.
Yeah, exactly, right? So he's doing stuff like that, like same like caliber, like sick. And these videos are popping off. He goes, dude, I got a funny idea. And he goes, I got all these guys at my house. He's like, my roommates are madmen, literally madmen. They call themselves the Madhouse Boys. He's like, they're like a rendition of Jackass. So they're like, you know, so they're fucking crazy. Like they just love doing like dumb shit.
I've seen them. I know exactly who they are now.
Yeah. And so he was like, they're my roommates. And he's like, so what I'm thinking is like, we're going to go to the state fair. And I would love to say, hey, we're going out to lunch. But instead of going out to lunch, when they get there, I'm going to have them try to last 1 3-minute round with a UFC fighter. He's like, I'll bring a whole film crew out there and everything. I was like, okay, yeah, let's do it. Dude, I sparred 5-minute rounds. I did championship rounds like before that. They walked in.
They were going at you.
They
huh?
walked in when I was doing it, and I was like, what's up, pussies? And they were like, what the? He's like, meet the fighter that you're gonna go against, and like I was just messing with them, you know, and they're like, oh gosh, okay. And so I brought some shin guards, I brought boxing gloves, but all of them just wanted to do was box.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, okay, cool. But I just sparred 5-minute rounds, you know. So I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that. I might be a little tired. I got a little bit nervous because one of the guys is pretty tall. I was like, oh man, maybe I'll be too tired. I'll get embarrassed, you know, like fuck, you know. But after that first loss at UFC 289, I was like, it made me like immune to like what people say on the internet. I was like, dude, fuck them. I was like, they're gonna talk
Which
shit
is
anyway.
why you've had, I think, like such amazing success because people care way too much about that.
Oh yeah, it'll stop people. It'll stop people from
doing posts and
from
videos.
making content. Stop my boxing coach for a little while, you know, and so.
Water went round.
I hate when that happens.
Yeah.
So they get there. I go with the tall guy. Get him out of there in like a minute.
Damn,
But I didn't post any of the other guys. Second guy, which I should, right? I should.
Yeah.
100%.
You know, like,
Sure.
yeah.
100%.
I should have a little bit of more context. People like, if you really said that, you should post the video in your thing. I'm like, whatever. But I don't want to do that. I don't want to give people context. I want people to think whatever they want to think.
yeah.
Yes.
Think, yeah. How could you, pro fighter, fighting a crackhead off the street? Who do you think you are? I'm like, yeah, I know, dude.
Let him go with it.
And then people are like, it's like a street fighter versus MMA fighter. People are like, who's the MMA fighter? I'm like, the cameraman. They're like, so you play into it, right? You know, so I go against him. I go against this other guy. I got him in like 40 seconds. Go against the next guy. I was kind of keeping him around for a little bit, so I let him dance around for like a minute and a half. Fourth guy, our guy, street fighter guy.
Yeah.
He goes, hey, man, knock me out cold. I was like, no, dude. No. Let's not do that. I go, I'll work
Like
with
knockout
you.
or choke or
No, knock
you wanted
me
to
out.
get knocked out.
Yeah, he goes, knock me out. I was like, no, bro. Just chill, just do what they did. He goes, nah, bro, trust me. I was like, bro, like, please. I was like, it's all good, bro. I was like, come on. And he's like,
Yeah.
and he's like, for the content. I was like, what the fuck?
That's too much, man.
I was
That's
like,
wild, dude.
bro.
Their content's fucking good. Though.
I haven't seen
Yeah,
it.
they're
They're really
crazy.
good.
And
They're
so I was like, all right, his name's Nico. Cool dude, super cool guy. And I was like, bro, it ain't gotta be like this, bro. I was like, for real. And I was like, are you sure? He goes, what are you, a pussy? And I was like, all right, let's fucking do it. And so he's like, all right, trailer park rules. He's like, fighter, are you ready? Fighter, are you ready? Go. I go in. I show a little bit of thunder and give him a little bit of lightning. Bow, boom, knock him out. And then I walk off. I've knocked only like 2 people out in sparring, like over like my lifetime of fighting.
Yeah.
Cause like I'm, you know, like if I see somebody's hurt, I'm not gonna fucking knock them out.
Yeah.
We're not trying to knock each other out.
No.
Like save it for the fucking fight, right?
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
it's disrespectful. I've accidentally like flash knocked out like people, you know, like you know, but it happens, you know. But I'm never like going in to kill people, you know. So fucking knock this guy out. And I'm like, oh shit. And I was like, dang. I was like, well, they're still filming. I was like, I gotta give it Generation Next. Suck it. You know, like right? And so,
Why not?
So I'm like, all right, Generation X, that was sick. Fuck yeah. And then they're like, oh shit, what the fuck? They get him up and he's like, whoa. And he goes, lucky shot. I was like, what?
No.
And he's like, yeah. I'd like to see you try that with the other hand. And I was like, pro. And I had this guy. He's like this. His name is Art. He's this Albanese. He's a Albanese gangster from Switzerland. He goes, brother, please. This guy knocked you unconscious 20 seconds ago. I don't think it's a good idea for you to get your head wrong again, brother.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, and he goes, well, I guess he is a pussy. And I was like, bro. Dude, I go up to Art. He's like, hey, brother, this guy's fucking crazy. I don't think this is a good idea. I was like, dude, I don't fucking think so either. I go, hey, man, it's all good. I think that's enough.
You got nothing to prove.
And I was like, it's all good. And he goes, let's run it back. And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, all right. And he's like, I was like, this guy's a fucking legend. And I I was like, bro, are you sure? He goes, fuck yeah, I didn't even feel that first one. I want to feel it this time. I was like, okay. So fucking I back up. You're doing it again? Yeah, we're doing it. Are you fucking serious? Yeah. So he fucking does it again. We go back in. I was like, all right, other hand. Boom. Knock him out again. I was like, oh shit.
First try both times. Oh my god. Dude.
And I was
Wait,
like,
I need to watch this. What the?
Yeah,
How have I not
bro,
seen
it's so
this? How have I
good.
not
It's
seen
so
this?
good. Oh, dude, it's so.
It got
Dude,
a lot of
it went
views.
viral.
Like,
Like, it was on. It was on the head news in France.
That is not.
No,
dude, that
it
kid
was-
is crazy.
Tyler, it
Crazy.
was the craziest video I've ever seen.
Yeah. No. It went super viral. TMZ
Bro,
TMZ
Are
put
you
it up.
fucking kidding me?
everywhere.
This
Yeah.
kid. Why? What is wrong with this
Yeah,
kid?
so anybody, I'm in all the videos where they're like when street fighters fight
all
challenge
the
MMA
YouTube
fighters.
videos
Yeah,
and
yeah,
shit.
yeah.
That's
But he's not a
hilarious.
street fighter. I just use it as a label.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
You know?
is the smartest thing.
Which
you
is
could
the
have done.
smartest thing.
Yeah.
Or one of the
at
good
these
ones is
views.
that
Click that.
I see red belt
27
versus
million.
black belt.
Oh, I've seen that.
Yeah, that's me. So that's yeah.
Did he
Okay, but
actually get knocked out?
He got knocked out.
You choked him out too, didn't you?
So okay.
Do you think
so,
he faked it or no?
No, he was out.
Okay, wait.
So that's not the end. So he wakes
There's no
up.
way it's a third. No.
No, so we wake him up. This is where people start getting angry. So, so we wake him up, and he goes, hey man, he goes, he goes, hey man, let's so you got me on the stand up, but let's grapple. I go, bro, no, it's good. Like it's all right. We got content.
Let's grapple like
Yo,
you can grapple
goes-
now.
he
Did
goes-
he loop it on the show when it's
No, I'll
live?
play it. I'll play it.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
play
yeah.
it up. I
Dude,
have
like
to.
during
Yeah.
him talking
Yes.
this whole time.
Yeah.
Keep it on a
Oh,
loop.
it'd be so good.
Let's
Yeah.
do-
Yeah,
like,
it's
dude.
so because so many people wonder about
No,
this.
I know.
Yes.
This
This
No,
is gonna
I'm
be
gonna.
really
I'll put it
watched.
up.
Okay,
I'll
That's
put it up.
probably why people wanted to see. Like, I get
Yes.
asked him that fucking question.
Yeah.
So he
And
asked
so-
you to grapple.
And so he asked me to grapple now, and he's like, hey, let's grapple. You got me on the stand up. Let's take it to the ground.
All
now.
of a sudden, he's Khabib.
And I was like, yeah. And I was like, dude, what the? I was like, this is the craziest guy I've ever met in my entire life.
Did he pull guard?
No, so we go down. We get there. I snap him down.
Yeah.
He goes for like a single leg, and I wrap around him, and I end up in mount position, and he's got me in like a guillotine, but he doesn't have it at all. Like doesn't have the legs in or anything. I'm in mount.
Yeah.
And so from mount, you can grab around their head and press your shoulder, and them with the guillotine pushes their shoulder into here, and they choke themselves out.
Their shoulders in their
Yeah.
back.
Yeah. So the more that they hold the guillotine, the more that it hurts them. So I'm cutting blood off right here, and his own shoulder, like while holding my head, is cutting him off. And so he just goes, and I was like, oh, he's out.
Yeah.
And so they're like, hey, dude. The people around are cheering him on. We had a whole fucking production team, dude. It was like 10, 15 people. That's
crazy.
And they're like, oh, dude, do the, oh, wait, he's out. And I was like, yep. And so I get up and I just kind of walk by him. I'm like,
He's asleep.
and I was like, wake up, sleepy. And he kind of, oh.
You lifted
What?
his legs.
Yeah, so he does that. Dude, this story just gets so much better. I'm so glad I'm telling it. And so he gets up and he goes, he goes, what happened? And he goes, dude, he fucking put you to sleep again. He's like, no way. And he's
Stop,
like-
dude.
he
Stop.
goes-
It does not
he-
keep going.
He goes, hey, one more.
What?
I go, dude.
This is after getting knocked
trust
out
me.
twice.
Knocked out twice and choked out.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, trust me.
KOs,
This is why I got a lot
Is
of
this guy
grief.
trying to kill himself?
And so Art's like, hey, brother, like you're gonna get CTE from this, brother. Just call it a day. And he's like, nah. I need one more. And we're like, all right. And then you hear Art in one of the early videos. He's like, hey, don't worry. He's just a black belt. And he's like, oh, okay. So he goes for the shot. I down block it. When I down block it, I break his clavicle.
Oh.
I break his clavicle. I don't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So his collarbone
snapped.
Oh
Did it
my
hit your
God.
knee or something?
I think it hit my arm.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Dude, that's a weak ass clavicle. Yo, holy shit! That thing was ready to go.
It was already fucked up before it was done.
I broke his shoulder. Clavicle.
Clavicle.
and so he goes, ah. And it kind of makes me laugh because this whole thing's just silly.
Yeah.
And so I grab him
Oh no.
and pull him into my guard and like, oh yeah, all right, now do the thing. People are cheering for him. And I take the side that the clavicle's broken on and I shove it across and throw up a triangle.
Oh my God.
And then I have it. I'm grabbing it. I'm grabbing the triangle tight.
his
Was he
arm-
not saying anything?
So
What
his
was he
arm
doing?
was
No,
out.
so this is what he said. Yeah, so the
Was he
side,
not like, my shit's broken? He's just like,
the
side that's
the
broken,
side
he's got
that's
his arm
broken.
in a triangle.
I'm pulling
Yeah, is
that
he yelling?
arm. No, so
He's crazy.
so get this. So I pull the arm across, lock up the triangle. He goes, huh, kind of gay. What? And goes out cold. And goes out cold. And people were like, hey, you almost got him, da da da, do the thing. People that don't know what they're talking about. He goes, huh, kind of gay. And goes out cold. I feel him snoring. And so I set him down. I walk around him. I lift his legs up. As soon as I lift his legs up, he goes like this, all stiff and tingly. Like when you wake up,
Wrist
you're like,
fingers,
you don't
like-
know where you are. Like it's like waking up from a dream.
Yeah.
And so he wakes up, he's looking around, and that's when I lifted his legs and I set him down. I give him a little pat on the side. I go, yeah, we're done, buddy.
Yeah.
And so it's funny, bro, because like people are like, oh, that poor guy, how could you do it? You couldn't win your last 2 UFC fights, so you go and pick on this guy, only person you can beat, you know, because like they're sticking up for him. This motherfucker goes to the state fair. He's got a cigarette, a shirt holding his arm in a sling,
He didn't go to the hospital?
drinking a beer, flicking me off. And he goes,
He's serious.
He goes, you ain't shit, pussy. Come to the fair and see me. I was
No.
like, fucking legend.
No.
Fucking legend, dude. The guy,
Who is this guy? Can we do a podcast with
his
him?
name is Nico, dude. And he,
should do
and
a
he,
show
He's
with
gonna
him.
try
You
to
should.
fight us.
No,
Yeah,
but
dude.
you gotta be
He's
on
fucking
set.
crazy.
I will be on set. Nico is
Could
a
you moderate
cool-
it?
You want
is
to
a cool-
moderate that show? We should ask him,
I'm
like, what
dude,
he was thinking.
he's a really cool guy. Like he like dude, he's like friends with like Shaq's family. Like doesn't have
What?
to doesn't have to do all this insane stuff. No. Best part, right? Best part. This is not the best part, by the way. Best part. I reach out to Nico. I go, you know, me and him are talking. We were gonna do more skits. And or do more.
Those are not
video.
skits.
It was not a skit.
That's
why I was
fucked
like,
up.
we were gonna do more videos. So, I'm talking to him. I was like, hey, dude, did you really break your collarbone? He's like, yeah, snapped in half. I go, oh shit, you went to the doctor? He goes, yeah, but it's all good. I go, what? No, dude, I feel bad. Like, dude, did your insurance cover it? He goes, even better. I go, what do you mean? He goes, well, you know, it was pretty blatantly obvious that it broke. He goes, but yeah, like a few days later, I'm driving and poof.
No.
And he's like, this old lady comes up to my door and she's like, I'm so sorry. Are you hurt? And he goes, Oh, my shoulder. Oh.
back.
And she goes, oh my gosh, I'll call the ambulance right now. He goes,
he got paid.
bro, he got
Her insurance.
Wait.
Holy shit.
I hope the claim's done.
Yeah, claim's done.
Okay.
Claim's done.
We're good.
You got it back.
Yeah.
Wow.
Got taken care
Did you
of.
get 20%?
I did. Yeah, right. Hey, bro, come on.
Yeah, that's my. That's my.
Yeah.
Oh my
Hey,
gosh.
if it wasn't for me, there would be no. Hey, right?
Dude, this guy's a legend.
Yeah, guy's a legend.
You should.
Yeah,
dude,
yeah.
We gotta
Guy,
call
I wanna
him.
talk
I
to
wish
him,
I
bro.
still
That's
had the picture
crazy.
of him with a cigarette in his mouth, a beer in the hand, holding
Come to the
a
fair,
cigarette in his
pussy.
mouth, beer in the hand with the sling, with the shirt sling around his shoulder, flicking me off, calling me a pussy, and
That's
telling me to
so
come to the
funny,
fair.
bro. That
I
is
was like,
so
this is
funny.
madness. My buddy at my church, who's with TMZ, made it go fucking crazy.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sure.
It popped off, and at first I was like, oh, I don't know, you know, because like they posted it and it did like okay,
Yeah.
and I go, hey Adrian, can I get that video from you? He goes, oh yeah, we sent it in a file, it's all in there. I sent it to your Dropbox. I go, oh okay, cool, thank you, bro, I appreciate it. He goes, hey, do me a favor, when you post it, just tag us.
Yep,
Cool.
yep.
I was like, all right, yeah, bet. And so I put it up. And I was like, oh, should I put music behind it? I was like, nah, it's not like a ninja move. I was like, you want to hear the sound effects? I was like, so, nah. So I put it up. And bro, next thing, Instagram was just
How quick?
Yeah.
quick.
Boom,
Dude,
boom, 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 boom.
27
Boom, boom, boom,
million
boom,
views.
boom, bro. But I went from 18,000 followers to like 105,000 followers,
Wow.
like in
Quick.
a week or two. And I was like, what? And then I was like, all the comments, I'm not used to, dude, it was 100 friend request, 100 follows, 100 comments.
That's
Wow.
the max it goes. It's like 100,
Yeah, just 100 every single
Yeah.
time. Like, dude, imagine you go like this, refresh, 100. Cool.
Wow.
20 seconds later, 100.
Wow.
You're like, bro, what?
Crazy.
And people were like, we need contacts. Da, 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 da. This guy's a fucking asshole. Fuck this
Wild.
guy. What the fuck? And I
They're
was like, dude,
following you.
and I was in the UFC. I just won my first fight. I was like, dude, am I gonna get kicked out of the UFC for this? You know, like, thank God Sean Strickland was on like some bullshit too.
Yeah,
you know?
They weren't even looking at your shit.
He's a champ.
So yeah. I was like, well, he's the world champ
Yeah.
doing this shit. Fucking, you
fucking-
know, like,
why
I don't
not
know.
me?
Yeah.
That's
100%.
hilarious.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so that was how all of it went down, you know, and then me and Adrian had a little bit of a falling out and a misunderstanding because Adrian, he was filming for me a little bit when I went to a fight in Canada, and he came out there. But he had a shirt company. It was sick ass shirt. I was just like, he's like, yeah, this is a new clothing line, sick clothing line. And he was like, yeah. He's like, I got to take this one that you wore in the video. He's like, but I'll get you one. And like from the content in Canada and the in the shirt, he never got it to me. And like I had another sponsor, Promise Rolly. Oh, I'll get you a Daytona Panda, 38,000 minimum. I was like, bro, just give me a shiny one.
Yeah.
And I was like, or just like a base level one. I don't know.
Yeah.
And he was like, no, I'm gonna get you the nice one. Never got it to me. So it's like
That's ridiculous,
and that was like right after my little brother's suicide. So I'm like, bro, like you're dirty for that. And you promised me, you bet like a bunch of money on me to win by knockout, and I knocked that guy out. And you told me to win by knockout, and I didn't win by knockout. And you told me how much you won off that fight. A lot. Could have bought the watch.
And
never
big
bought
or
the watch.
small, it's still like
Bro, if he promised me a strawberry milkshake after the fight, I'm like, yo, where's that strawberry milkshake?
exactly.
I don't give a fuck about the material,
It's
bro.
the word.
It's
Yep,
the
yep.
word. It's like, bro, like, don't tell me you're gonna do something and then not do it, and then treat me weird because like I asked for it.
Yep.
And I was just like, hey,
That's
and
crazy.
I didn't even ask for it like that.
Yeah.
My coach was like, hey, that wrist
It's just
looks
being
empty.
a man of your word, whether you know
Right?
That's it.
And so, you know, it's like if you promise something to me, like uphold it. So Adrian was like, hey, those videos are doing really well and da 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 da. So like, can you tag us in it? I go, yeah, bro, of course, I got you, G. I was like, but can you do me a favor and ship me a shirt that you promised me when I did some content for you? I was like, because you never shipped me that shirt when I filmed content for you, and you never gave me any of the footage from when we were out in Canada. I was like, that's all I wanted, bro. I was like, I just wanted some cool stuff to like post on my Instagram. I was like, and I'm helping you out during my camp. Like, my camp's very fucking serious, bro. Like, I don't take it lightly. Dedicated my entire life to it. And I didn't need the money. Like, bro, I didn't need the money even with the UFC. It was a passion project for me. Mm-hmm. When I left treatment at 16 after an overdose, I said that I was going to be in the UFC. And I wanted to do that. I wanted to fulfill being number one in the world. And then I was able to, get close to that. And so for me, it was just like, it was just be a man of your word, like, just be cool, like, and I'll be cool.
And for all the viewers watching, what are some of the things you want to tell your fans or our subscribers or anything before we go? Some last words of wisdom.
Oh man, I think my last words of wisdom. Really, to thine self be true, man. Like, if you're really just, you clear up the wreckage of your past and you're really good with people, things can get really fun for you. I've had suicide attempts in my life on myself. My little brother was successful with it. I've had a chaotic life, and I've seen a lot of people that let other people talk them out of their dream. And sometimes and success is, in my definition, the best definition I've heard it, success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. So that means just whatever you think being a success is in life, chase that, and actualize that. It could be being a good father, or just playing soccer in Europe, or just making it to the UFC, or whatever, just being a good human being, but I would say, write down what it is that you want in life and who you want to be, and become that in that moment, because you are that as soon as you decide that, because life is really short. And if you're not clear about who you are and what you want to be, you'll let other people talk you out of that dream. That's why it's really important for you to clear up your past so you're cool with everybody. And even if you guys don't talk, you guys are cool and you handled that situation the best that you could. And I think really going and making amends for the wrongs that you've done in your life, it's so rare. But just make sure everything's on the up and up. And if you, and any bad seeds that you've planted, go and try and make it right. And then when you decide who you're going to be, sometimes we have fear of like, I did this person wrong, or I did this person dirty, or, what would this person think? But if you do that, you're gonna be more okay with yourself, and you'll listen to your own advice better. You'll be able to trust yourself. So I think it's just getting clear on what you want to do in life, being really good with everybody, being able to look other people in the eye and talk to them, and also being able to look at yourself in the eye. If you stop doing that and stop enjoying life, it can be a vaporous existence. So I think it's important for us to keep everything on the up and up, and put our best foot forward to be the best versions of ourselves every day, just 1% better every day if you can.
That's
Love
awesome.
it, bro.
Wow.
That's so good.
We gotta end it on that one right there.
We
Yeah.
love you, bro. Welcome to the family.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Seriously, bro.
You're always welcome.
No,
We're blessed.
we hope you
You're
come
awesome.
back.
Yeah.
God bless
I'll be
you.
back for
Awesome,
sure.
bro.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we appreciate you coming on. That was
Bring
one of the
Nico on.
most badass pods. That was the longest pod we've
That
ever
was
had.
one of
Oh,
our.
really?
Oh, for
Bro, ever.
sure.
History.
So good.
Sick.
No, that was amazing.
No, dude,
There's
thank
so
you.
many things.
Bro,
that was amazing.
Fucking legend, bro. Like,
It was
you're
cool
welcome
because
anytime. That was awesome,
it was
bro.
cool because we got to talk about a lot of things
Yeah.
that I've kind of talked about but never really like discussed in full or like entirety.
Yeah.
So You guys
it's awesome.
I mean, it's cool, just like chilling with the boys.
No,
Chill
exactly.
with the boys. Exactly.
Basement talk.
That's what we're going for.
Guys, everybody watching, follow him right now.
In the
Stop what you're doing.
description.
Yeah.
You guys are missing out if you're not following him. He posts
And
crazy
maybe you
stuff
follow him
every day.
already.
And if
Crazy
you guys
content.
are running around town, you guys don't know how to fight, or you guys don't know what to do, he does ninja move of the day.
Yeah, ninja move of the day.
And you guys
It'll
watch
get you
his
right.
content.
The thing that's dope is I get people that hit me up. They're like, "That would never work, bro." I get people that are competitors. Yo, I just hit this.
That's crazy.
Yo, I
hit
just
this at
hit
the
your
bar.
move the other day. I'm like, let's
go.
I don't care. He got 15 followers. I'm like, let's go, baby.
Let's go.
Whoa, Blake, I can't believe you responded. I was like, bro, you won the
Have
tournament.
you ever got
What
someone just choke me out with your move?
Maybe.
Gosh, it's gonna come now.
Spam 'em,
It gets
spam 'em.
weird out there.
Guys, everybody follow him. Follow
Subscribe,
Kyler.
subscribe.
Follow Zach. Let's go. We'll see you guys next Monday.
Peace.
God bless.
Bro, that was
That was sick.
badass, bro.
That was sick. Bro.
And honestly, too, I've never seen.